Hey everybody, I'm here with Warren Edgar, one of our producers here at PMC. Good to see you, Warren.
Good to see you, Luigi. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, thank you. So tonight we want to talk a little bit about your upcoming shows. You've premiered two of them so far. They're called Date Night and Ask Christina Anything.
Yeah, no, that's right. So Date Night it's a spin-off of a very popular series, Game Night. Similar naming there. And Date Night, it's a dating show. So one bachelorette comes on the show and she has access to three mystery bachelors, and she asks them a series of questions, and then at the end of the night she decides who she wants to take on a dream date of her choosing. It's a really great show, and it's kind of built off of those classic dating shows from the 1980s and 70s and stuff like that, and we're kind of reinventing them.
Right,
new age
for
of
Portland,
media.
kind of Portland singles.
Exactly.
And like the old dating game show where there would be like maybe one bachelor, three bachelorettes, maybe one bachelorette, three bachelors, divider, they can't see each other. There's kind of irreverent questions, a very modern day. You've had a couple episodes. They've done really well so far.
They've done really, really well. We've premiered two episodes now, one with Alexa Pothio, one with Jamie Lee Terrelin. And they've done really well. I mean, people are loving these shows. They're loving the concept. They're really funny, is basically the main takeaway of them. Is, we want people to laugh, because some of the bachelors that come on the show, sometimes they completely blow it in front of the bachelorette, and sometimes, they take it home. And you never know what to expect when watching the show.
And there's a lot of local musicians, comedians, so we promote a lot of local folks. And they're kind of like upcoming. We've had two bachelorettes, and then each of them had three bachelors. But you're envisioning there's going to be all kinds of different, surprises.
That's right,
Yeah.
And we also want to break out of that kind of, that female and male kind of thing.
Right.
We're workshopping right now a drag queen episode,
that ought
which
to
is
be
going to
funny, right?
It's
Yeah.
going to be really funny,
Yeah.
And so because we really want to encapsulate, Portland and everything that Portland has going for it right now.
Right,
and
right.
that is, we have all these wacky people and all these wacky personalities. We want to bring them together, and we want to, make
See
a
what
dating
happens.
show.
Yeah, singles in Portland. So also though, there's a part two of that show. The first kind of 15 minutes, I think, are the date night, or 15,
That's right.
20 minutes. And then there's Ask Christina Anything, which you have Christina LaBelle, like an intimacy expert.
That's right.
Yeah, tell me more about that. You're also host that section as well.
I do. So Christina LaBelle, as you said, is an intimacy expert, and she sits down, just me and her, on a couch usually,
Yeah.
and we ask her questions that viewers are sending in to us, questions that they might have about relationship advice, romance advice, intimacy advice. We try to keep it PG, but, and what's amazing about it is we get so many questions from viewers who send in, and there's an email that you can email us at, and then we go and we select some of our favorite questions and we ask them on air with Christina, and she gives top-notch advice. I mean, it is amazing advice. I've heard from people going, I watched your show, I saw, what Christina had to say about this certain topic, and then I went and it changed my life completely. And that's what's amazing.
And she pulls no punches. She's very in depth about what she likes to talk about.
That's right.
And she's lived an interesting life. And it's for some of the older viewers out there, like Dr. Ruth used to be an advice person about sex, Dr. Drew Pinsky.
Yep.
And you and Christina have a good vibe in the sense that you're both very tapped into like what the younger people are thinking about things.
That's right.
In the new, because you've had questions about new technology and how that's related to intimacy, because that's something that people my age, but even younger, a lot of times it's a big issue is, with so much social media or the lack of closeness now, because everybody's so cut off on things, and you guys you don't pull any punches on talking about that, right?
We don't, no, and we've had some really interesting conversations, especially around topics that you'd think would be a little too risque for television.
Right, yeah.
Be it pornography in this day
Right,
and age.
yeah.
Is this kind of porn generation that's coming up? How is that affecting them? Video games that are adding in these elements to them. How is that affecting young people? We tackle all these major questions, and as you said, dating apps and all these things like that, they are definitely affecting how we meet people.
Right. Yeah, because everything's virtual now, so it's not just what you think of like pornography or things on the web. In that sense, it's also people are meeting people, and then their expectations are way different. As anybody that's done online dating, nobody's ever really who
The
they
catfish,
catfishing, and just that it's such a different world now, and so navigating intimacy when you were my age or older, it was more simple. People weren't as fulfilled because a lot of times, you'd get married right out of high school or something, and some people would say, oh, that was, my partner throughout all of my life. But now there's so many more options. But then a lot of people think that can be too much because you're always looking for who could be that perfect person for me out there. And it doesn't have to be locally.
Yeah.
It could be in another country or things. And so kind of what you guys deal with, though, is how do you navigate and where it's going to go in the future, the kind of the brave new world about it? Because now, do you see any differences with things like virtual reality where you can be in a totally different world with your own girlfriend or boyfriends or things like that?
With that new Apple Vision
With the new
Pro,
app, yeah, exactly. How does real life compare when the computers and everything can create more to it? But that's what's interesting about the Ask Christina Anything is you're getting that advice from her, but then you're also seeing kind of right there with the dating,
that's right,
how people do date now. And have you found it interesting, like the how they interact on the dating part of it, or is it more kind of funny, like that people are different now than maybe they would have been in the past?
Well, I think there definitely is, there is similarities there. But what I like about date night in particular is the fact that we are kind of creating this physical barrier where you can't see that other person.
Exactly.
Because so often people online, especially on dating apps, we're judging people primarily on how they look.
Right.
And less about the content of their character, more just, how they look.
Yeah.
And date night really, tears down that barrier of you don't see the person at all.
Yeah.
And it's all about how that person responds to your questions. You're asking that person questions, really personal questions, to try to figure out, what kind of person is this? And then at the end, you get to see how they look. I think that is a pretty radical concept.
Yeah, it's like the opposite inverse of kind of the Tinder, which is just all looks. Nobody reads what the profile even is. And it's interesting because it seems like those shows are bigger on Netflix, like I think Love is Blind maybe, or shows like that, where people aren't, it's that same. But you're very low tech in the sense that it's very much like the old dating games. It's just a divider. The Bachelorette comes out. There'll be more Bachelors coming up too. Yeah. And then, so when again can we watch this show on Friday nights? It's at 8:30?
So you can watch Date Night at 8:30 on Friday nights, and then right after Date Night is an all-new Ask Christina Anything.
Okay.
And then right after Date Night and Ask Christina Anything, of course, is Friday PM.
Friday PM, yeah.
So,
our show every
keep
Friday
watching,
night. Keep watching. And after Friday PM is Dave's Video Vault, so watch for that as well.
But he's stacked Friday night for most
people. It is, and Limitless Wrestling's on that lineup too.
On right before Date Night at 8.
Right before Date Night. Yeah, it seems like there's going to be some interesting folks. And then if people want to get in touch with you guys, they could get in touch with somebody for an email to find out if they can be a contestant, or find you on Facebook maybe?
Yeah, so you can reach out. Luigi, you're a producer on the show, so they can contact you.
Luigi at portlandmedia.org. Yeah.
That's right. And you can find me on Facebook or Instagram. You can reach out to me. And then if you have any questions that you want asked on Ask Christina Anything, you can email us at askchristinaanythingpmc@gmail.com. And then, maybe your question will be answered.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Warren. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Look forward
Thanks for
to
having
that
me.
show. We'll be right back right after this.